said that this one lives loose in the backyard.
That's what I have in mind. And what she does is, I have un pot de eso debajo.
Yeah.
And when it finishes, there's two corners of the house, and that's where it likes to go.
Yeah.
If it rains on this side, she goes to the other side over there. And if not, she goes back into the pot. Pero
Mine goes into a staghorn. Mine hides under a staghorn. Then he comes out like a teenager. Every couple of days, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. They go to the sliding door.
And when they come out like that, it's like you can't stand there with nail polish, okay?
Really?
Because if I'm wearing red, it's a strawberries. They love strawberries.
Look at Barbuda. They got hit directly.
Isn't it Bermuda? Are you pronouncing it wrong?
No.
Before this storm, I never even heard of Barbuda. I had never heard of it. Y el tipo el otro día, no, que Barbuda. Y yo digo, that's not I know how to pronounce Bermuda or whatever. Or Barbados. The guy's Barbuda. Yo lo veo bonito. Have you ever heard of Barbuda? Why are you showing off? Why are you making me feel bad?
Carl, how big does yours get?
I think it's just about that size.
Really? But Carl, mine goes up to 150 pounds.
Oh, you've got that African thing?
African socada.
Oh, that's like a Volkswagen.
Yeah. How are you? Evening one. Good.
Do you know that old one?
Yeah, I know.
And
What happened to it?
when he moved away from Miramar,
He used to come in on Wednesdays, he'd buy the burgers, the cheeseburgers at McDonald's.
when he moved away to Miramar, he couldn't take it with him to the beach.
The bulk schedule is whatever was regularly
I don't want
scheduled.
him. He goes, so his landscaper ended up taking him. What he did with him, yeah, I don't know. But his weighed about 70 or 80 pounds,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sabe, when he gets pissed off, he goes,
Me puso así en la silla de caracol, arriba de las piernas.
No, de caracol no, baby.
Para yo entregar eso. So
I'm gonna do it today.
I'm not going to be able to do it today
Today's
during
the city's
working hours.
closed. City's closed Thursday and
Everything's
Friday.
They
closed.
closed again today, yes.
City's closed Thursday and Friday, yes.
Okay, guys, call my bellies and have them stamp.
No, but if they're closed,
There's got to be someone over there.
What is it that you have to do? What is it?
I know, but
Mail it in.
imagine then if this shit comes, Monday's the final day.
Get it to the post office
They
and
might not be able to even open, and can I get out there? And
mail it into the city or mail it into
I would.
Postmarket today. Just
Yeah.
postmarket before midnight,
I'd
and
say
that's
go to
it.
the post office and postmark it.
The
and
one
send
on
it.
the one on 25th.
Yeah, no, by my house. I have one there.
Well, that
I
other
have to
one,
finish
that
mine
other one,
today.
you don't have to deal with anybody. You just go there and stamp it, and that's it. You put the thing there, you wait.
So if I call, they're not there today.
I don't think they're there
The
today. I
city's
think they shut
closed
down.
Thursday and
But the
Friday.
mayor told me that they were going to stay open today till 12.
I heard they were going to close.
He told me they were going to stay today till 12.
Maybe.
So, you know, maybe they can stamp it.
Hi, Bridget.
Oh, yeah, I guess they are.
Is anyone there?
Yeah.
Y después otra entrega lo otro.
They're open?
They're there.
With the center of belly.
Oh,
Then maybe, yeah. Yeah, but you're gonna run
but
till
you're not
12
gonna.
now.
I'll have
No,
to
I
do
need
it today sometime.
Hmm? Come out? Why wouldn't you? Hello? Dime, Tomás.
¿Qué silencio?
Ah, mira,
¿Qué
pues.
pasó? Vieron a Carl en el teléfono y dijeron, everybody quiet.
Oye, ¿estás todo el mundo bien? ¿Estás bien todo? Sí, sí, sí. Oye, ya va a empezar. Tengo que dejarte, ya va a empezar.
But I actually stuff that we need to do. No, no, no. They're gonna be talking about that. I got it. Imagino. Very quiet in this room. One. Hello, mic's not on. Hello. Wait, mic's not on. We on? Oh, you can hear me here? Okay, we're okay. We're okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We don't need. That's good. Thank you. No, 1, 2. No, they can hear me. If everybody can hear me in the cameras, then everybody's hooked up, and that's fine. Thank you. We're good. You don't need anything else. Hey, if they get it, you don't need anything else. Are you change anything? Yeah, they were making a call now.
Why is that? Okay.
Good morning. First off, I want to thank everybody that's standing up here because they're all concerned about the safety of all the citizens of this of our state. I just had a briefing with the emergency management officials here in Miami-Dade County. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is reporting that Hurricane Irma remains a dangerous and life-threatening Category 5 storm with winds of 180 miles per hour. Category 5, 180 miles per hour. Based on what we now know, Miami-Dade will have major hurricane impacts with deadly storm surge, and life-threatening winds. We can expect this all along the entire East Coast. The Florida Keys should be prepared to start feeling the effects of the storm as early as tomorrow night. Look at the size of this storm. It's huge. It is wider than our entire state and could cause major and life-threatening impacts on both coasts, coast to coast. Regardless of which coast you live on, be prepared to evacuate. Floridians on the West Coast cannot be complacent. Just because models show going along the East Coast, the West Coast will still have hurricane conditions, and these storms can move and change. Remember, Hurricane Andrew is one of the worst storms in the history of Florida. This is much worse and more devastating on its current path. Irma has already caused multiple fatalities. This storm is powerful and deadly. We already have people in the Caribbean that have passed away, died. We are being very aggressive in our preparation for this storm, and every Floridian, every family should take this seriously and be aggressive. You've got to protect your family. Possessions can be replaced, your family cannot. This is serious, and we cannot take chances. It is life-threatening. This is not a storm you can sit and wait through. One of our top priorities right now is fuel availability. We know there are problems with supply at gas stations and are working around the clock to get fuel to you. Last night I spoke with all the fuel retailers, and I just got off the phone just a couple of minutes ago with the oil companies. I've been very clear to the retailers and the oil companies that we have to know that we have to get the fuel as fast as we can out so everybody has the fuel to evacuate. We need to know exactly what their needs are so we can solve their needs. The issues include fuel availability from our ports, federal rules and regulations, and getting fuel through traffic to gas stations. To address these concerns, we're doing the following. I've spoken to FEMA, the Department of Energy, EPA, and the White House about waiving federal rules and regulations to get as much fuel possible into our state and through our ports. I've directed state law enforcement to provide escort services to gas trucks to get through traffic so they can get to the stations faster. One of the issues is getting from the ports to the stations so they can put the fuel there and then get back and get more. Right after this, I'll be talking to all the fuel distributors. We know fuel is very important, and we're absolutely devoting every state resource to addressing this, and we're talking to the federal government about their support. While we're making progress, you will see lines or outages, unfortunately. I know this has to be very frustrating, and we will not stop working on this. If you're concerned that you do not have a way to evacuate because of a fuel issue, please call 1-800-955-5504, 1-800-955-5504, which is a dedicated transportation hotline. If you're in an evacuation area and you don't know how to get out, we will get you out, but you've got to call us. If you are, call us now. Do not wait. If you're in an evacuation area, do not wait to get out. We're not going to be able to save people once the storm hits. If you know you're going to a shelter in your county, please don't take only the fuel you need. You don't need to fill your tank to the brim to stay in your own county. I've said many times, you have to take what you need, and we've got to be considerate to try to get as many people the fuel they need. The Gas Buddy app is a great resource to find open stations with fuel. Yesterday I asked the governors of Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia and North Carolina to rescind weight and driver regulations so out-of-state resources can move expeditiously into Florida. All of these states worked quickly to respond to our request, and we now have waivers from Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and North Carolina. I've also spoken to the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, and they have lifted federal regulations to get gas to Florida quickly. All ports still remain open and operating to bring fuel and supplies in. We are laser focused on how we get as much fuel as possible to our ports while they are open. I've offered school buses for transportation needs in Monroe, Miami-Dade, and Broward counties. At this time, Miami-Dade is using these services to help evacuate those with special needs, and Broward has buses on standby. Monroe has said they do not need these buses right now, but our offer still stands. Right now, there is mandatory evacuation order in effect for the Florida Keys. This means all residents and all visitors. I was down there yesterday doing everything we can to make sure citizens can get out. We estimate there are about 31,000 people have already evacuated from the Keys as of 6 p.m. last night. If you're in the Keys and do not have a way out, 1-800-955-5504. But do not wait. If you're in the Keys and still home, leave and get out. We can't save you after the storm starts. You're going to have hurricane, unbelievable wind, and storm surge. The entire Lower Keys Hospital has been evacuated. All other hospitals of the Keys will be evacuated today. I've been very clear with Monroe County that the state will provide whatever resources are necessary to get the hospitals back open quickly following the storm. I went through Andrew, and that was an issue of getting hospitals back open. We also have a task force devoted entirely to helping prepare and respond to the Keys. For the remainder of the state waiting on evacuation orders, listen to your local officials. They will tell you if and when your area needs to be evacuated. If you're told to evacuate, get out quickly. The roads will fill up quickly, so you need to go. We're already starting to see a significant increase in the number of people on our roads. We're doing everything we can to keep them open. We can expect additional evacuations as the storm continues to get nearer to our state. Miami-Dade has ordered mandatory evacuation for Zone A and Zone B. If you live in these zones and you're still home, leave now. Don't wait. The roads are going to get worse the longer you wait. There are voluntary evacuations being ordered in Collier County. Broward County has issued voluntary evacuations of mobile homes and low-lying areas. I cannot stress enough, do not ignore evacuation orders. Remember, we can rebuild your home, you can get your possessions again, but you can't get your life back. Regardless of which coast you live on, be prepared to evacuate. This storm can change. Right now, the track is on the East Coast. It can change. Floridians on the West Coast cannot be complacent. Traffic. I know many of you are in traffic. I know it's frustrating, but please be patient. Real-time traffic information and evacuation routes are available at fl511.com. We're watching all that, and we're going to do everything we can to keep these roads open. We have traffic cameras on every major roadway in the state and are clearing traffic issues real time so we can keep people moving. FDOT and law enforcement are working diligently. We're already seeing bottlenecks at major highway junctions, which brings up an important point. You do not need to evacuate out of the state or hundreds of miles away to stay safe. Find shelters in your county. We are coordinated with Google's emergency response team to prepare to close roads in Google Maps in real time in the event that Hurricane Irma forces the closure of any roads in the aftermath of the storm. So you'll know if a road's closed. At my direction, all tolls have been waived across Florida roadways. This should help families evacuate quickly and safely. Again, if you're concerned that you do not have a way to evacuate, 1-800-955-5504. We will do all we can to get you out, but do not wait. National Guard. Today I'm activating another 3,000 National Guardsmen to help with shelter operations and evacuations. Today we will have more than 4,000 Florida National Guard members activated to immediately begin assisting with ongoing Hurricane Irma preparation. These men and women are putting themselves in harm's way to save the lives of their fellow Floridians. We can never thank them enough for all they do to keep us safe, both in their service to our nation abroad and in their response to emergencies like Hurricane Irma at home. Let's remember, they're helping us while many of their own families are planning on, they're going to have to evacuate. After the storm hits, they will work with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission on search and rescue operations. National Guard members will also be assisting utility companies following the storm as they respond to return power to homes and businesses. 13 helicopters and more than 1,000 tactical high water vehicles are on standby, ready to be deployed. By using resources from other states, we also have 30,000 troops, 4,000 trucks, 100 helicopters, and air evacuation crews ready to support our state. I talked to both President Trump and Vice President Pence yesterday, and they have offered the full resources of the federal government to support us. We've requested the following: tarps, water, baby food supplies, supply trucks, search and rescue personnel, and equipment and incident management teams. We've also submitted several requests to the U.S. Department of Defense for readiness and post-storm response. We've asked for military watercraft and aircraft with the capability to move fuel from the mainland to Keys at Marathon. Personnel, resources, and National Guard that were federalized to respond to Texas have now, anybody that responded to Texas has now been demobilized to come to Florida to assist us if we need them. We've asked for a military vessel like a Marine or Navy ship to sustain shuttle operations and complete ship-to-shore missions. This vessel will allow us to move crews, supplies, and fuel to the mainland. I mentioned the major concerns with the Florida Keys regarding any potential destruction of bridges. They have over 50 bridges down there. If you lose one bridge, it isolates everybody south of there. If we lose a bridge, people are going to clearly be stranded. FEMA is looking at options to assist with the state with this. I've also discussed that with the White House. I've discussed the importance with FEMA about the need to help every hospital get up and running when the storm passes. The federal government has also pre-positioned medical support personnel and disaster medical assistance teams, and they're en route to Florida. These rapid response teams aid in the provision of medical care to those who need it after the storm. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is preparing search and rescue teams for potential deployment. FWC has more than 200 officers standing by for the first wave of response based on potential storm impacts. 30 teams with supporting resources such as trucks, coastal and river patrol boats, ATV and shallow draft boats are preparing for evacuation support, search and rescue missions, or any additional needs. FWC was also coordinating with partners in states like Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Arkansas in case additional officers or resources are needed. The Florida Highway Patrol is monitoring road and traffic conditions to ensure roadways are clear. Our roads remain clear and there are no major problems so far on our roads. FDLE has established 18 emergency response teams for deployment to impacted areas and 7 logistics and planning teams. Utility providers. They're actively pre-positioning resources throughout the state and in neighboring states. We know from previous storms how incredibly important it is for power to be restored quickly. It's going to be very important to get this power back on quickly. FP&L has activated its emergency response plan and has thousands of workers preparing to respond to Irma. I know they're one of the largest providers in the state. They're also working with out-of-state utilities and electrical contracting companies to secure additional resources. They have opened more than 20 staging sites throughout the service area where restoration crews, trucks, and equipment are stationed. Lake Okeechobee. Water levels in Lake Okeechobee are still being lowered, and the lake is currently at 13.67 feet. But we still do, at this point, we do not have major concerns about the dike. We will immediately advise if any of that changes. Shelters. If you're evacuating for the Keys, you can shelter at Florida International University. There's absolutely no reason for anyone not to evacuate if you're ordered to do so. Shelters are available, and you should follow the directions of local officials to go to the shelter that fits your needs. If you need a hotel, go to expedia.com/Florida. Expedia is working on hotel occupancy in real time. The Florida restaurant and lodging industry has encouraged all hotels to waive pet policies, offer shelter, and be compassionate with cancellations. Families can go to floridadisaster.org/info to learn where shelters are in their area. Comcast. They're opening more than 137,000 free Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots throughout the state for individuals in need, including non-Comcast members. You can find these hotspots at xfinity.com/Wi-Fi. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, they're all helping with hotspots. The state is staking supplies such as meals, shelter support, trailers, and water at the State Logistics Resource Center in Central Florida for deployment as needed. And FEMA has resources in Alabama. We are pre-positioning these goods to help everyone in the storm's path. We need volunteers. We've had more than 6,800 volunteers sign up in 24 hours. So thank you for that. This includes more than 1,000 state employees. This is great. We need more. We need a total of 17,000 volunteers statewide. You can go to volunteerflorida.org to sign up for volunteer opportunities. Or you can call 1-800-FL-HELP-1. 1-800-FL-HELP-1. We need more volunteers. They make a big difference in emergencies and help with shelters, food distribution, and response efforts. State offices in Miami-Dade, Monroe, Broward, Lee, Glades, Hendry, Okeechobee, Martin, Charlotte, and St. Lucie are closed today until further notice. Every Florida family must prepare to evacuate regardless of the coast you live on, regardless of which coast you're on. We are 100% focused on making sure Floridians and visitors have timely information on this storm, and we will continue to closely monitor Hurricane Irma and issue updates throughout the next few days. Cada familia tiene que tomar este huracán en serio. Tiene que tener un plan, 3 días de agua, alimentos y las medicinas que necesiten. Como gobernador, mi prioridad es que todos en la Florida estén seguros. Be glad to answer any questions anybody has. So I've been talking to the Corps. I've been talking to the Corps every day. The Corps right now, Colonel Kirk is in Tallahassee along with General Holland that is out of Atlanta. They've done inspections. It's at 13.68, which is good right now. We can take a lot more water right now. The big risk they have there, of course, is if you get too much water. And it looks like, so far, something can change. This storm is moving fast, which means we will not get the same sort of rain that Texas got. Now, that can all change, but that's the biggest risk on the Dike at Okeechobee is too much rain. That's why they're lowering levels. We're doing the same thing with the canals through the South Florida Water Management District. So we're trying to make sure, to the extent that we get a lot of rain, and the issue with Miami-Dade is not just the rain, it's the storm surge. The canals are going to be as low as we can get them. So if something changes, we're going to tell you. But we're at 13.68, and we can take a lot more right now.
At what point does it crash?
Well, it's gotten to 18.67 or something without anything happening. They constantly do inspections. They'll even do more detailed inspections when it hits 17 feet. But at 13.68 feet, they can take a lot of water right now. So the biggest risk would be if for whatever reason it just sat here and dumped rain. That's their concern. Their concern is not the wind right now.
Okay, so you talk about Turkey Point and your assessment post FPL with respect to that. So
Yep. So Turkey Point will of course be closed at the right point, I've been talking to FPL. They're all prepared to do it. We're preparing both to close it and how to reopen it. The big issue on reopening it is we've got to have the evacuation zone completely clear. So we've worked a plan with the National Guard and with FDOT to make sure that when it's ready to close. First off, that's FPL, but it's also going to be ready to reopen. Let's remember, we've got to survive this storm, and then we got to get back. So if we close a hospital, I went through this back in Andrew, it's work to get them reopened. So we're ready, we're going to prepare, we're going to try to keep everybody safe, we're going to recover everybody, and then we're going to get everybody back to work as quickly as we can. And we're thinking about all of them.
when you say a closure at Turkey Point, does that mean you can expect a power outage?
So
estar pensando en eso, eso no va a pasar aquí en la Florida. El Estado tiene un teléfono, es el 1-800-955. Déjenme mirarlo para estar seguro, no lo quiero dar. No me quiero equivocar. 1-800-955-5504. Si necesitan ayuda, pueden llamar a ese teléfono y dejarle saber a las personas que contestan que necesitan ayuda para salir, pero llamen ahora, no lo dejen para después.
Everybody's working hard. I can tell you, we're providing escorts to the carriers. We're talking to, making sure there's fuel here. We're going to do everything we can to keep Port Everglades open as long as possible so we can get the fuel out of there. I'm talking to, we're working with the federal government to waive all the rules and regulations. So we're doing everything we can to get fuel. Go to the Gas Buddy app to find out where there is fuel. I'll be in a few cities today. As I was traveled yesterday, you had stations that had plenty of fuel with no lines, and then you had others that had lines. So we're going to do everything we can to get fuel. But if you have a problem, if you call the telephone number, we will get you evacuated. We will find the resources to get you evacuated. We're going to do everything we can to get everybody out. But the big thing is, you can't wait. I mean, you can't just think, whether it's fuel, whether it's traffic, whatever the issue is, the longer you wait, it's harder to provide the resources. So take this seriously. And the truth is, whichever coast you're on, because this thing can change. I can tell you, in Andrew, I had all these hospitals. I evacuated hospitals to a hospital in the southern part of the city, and Andrew changed in the last, half hour, 45 minutes. So these things can change, and just a small change can change which coast it's going down. If you look at what the National Hurricane, look at the cone has our entire state. And this thing's bigger than our entire state right now. So take this seriously. Have a plan. Listen to what the locals are telling you. So we're going to do everything we can to keep everybody safe, but we all have to do this together. Thanks, everybody, for all your hard work.
Are you concerned about the people driving up north and all the long lines? Can they just stay in the row while the storm is coming, where the hurricane's coming?
We're going to do everything we can to keep all the evacuation routes open. The Highway Patrol, the National Guard, FDOT, everybody is part of keeping those roads open. The first thing we'll do is, if we start seeing too much traffic, you'll be able to drive on the shoulder. We're not there yet, so we'll have that. So we're going to make sure people can get out. Yeah, and if you have a question, if you're looking, go to fl511.com, and you can look at it'll tell you on there, both through some cameras and through information, where the bottlenecks are, and then we're following that, and we're working diligently to keep them open. Thanks, everybody.